Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So this is part 4 of the series Introduction to Forensic Science. I have already shared part 1, 2 and 3 on my YouTube channel. So you can check out the link from the description which I'll share. And do subscribe the channel if you want more such content. And let's get started. So many scientists have contributed in the field of forensic ballistics. So one of the prominent scientists in this field is Sir Alexander Lacassagne, who was a French physician and a criminologist. He devoted his life completely for advancement of forensic science, and he worked as a professor at University of Lyon, France, where he dedicated his life towards forensic investigation, and sometimes he worked as a consultant and also an expert in many criminal trials. He is the first to conduct blood stain pattern analysis and also to study bullet markings and their relation to specific weapons. So these are his contribution in the field of forensic ballistics. And in one of his article, which was published in year 1889, La Deformation des Balles de Revolver. In this article, which was published in the archive of De Anthropologie Criminale et des Sciences Penales, he outlined his finding of his research work regarding bullet markings. So here the article means the name of the article is written in French, which means deformation of revolver bullet, and the journal is um, the study of firearm investigation and identification of firearm. So he was the first scientist to report the significance of blood stain left at the crime scene, and he also conducted research related to it. He found out the relationship between the shape of the blood spot and the position of the victim. So another renowned scientist in the field of forensic science is Clyde Snow and William Bass. They contributed in the field of forensic anthropology in different ways. Starting with Clyde Snow, he was a native of Texas and was a legendary detective in the field of forensic anthropology, which is study of human beings in legal terms. And he was also involved in the examination of thousands of skeletal remains. Some of his very famous contributions from skeletal remain identification includes John F. Kennedy, victim of Oklahoma City bombing and Nazi doctor. Another very famous scientist in field of anthropology is William Bass, who is a native of US and is also the creator of Body Farm, officially named as Anthropology Research Facility. This is one of the first laboratory for decomposition research, which was invented or discovered by William Bass. Another renowned scientist is Sir Alec Jeffrey, who is a native of Oxford, United Kingdom. In the year 1984, he developed the milestone technique of genetic fingerprinting and profiling. He used the technique of variations in genetic code to uniquely identify people, and this technique is now used in forensic labs and parenting testing. He discovered this technique in a lab in Department of Genetics at the University of Leicester, and this was one of the most important discovery of the time, which is used till today for criminal identification in forensic science. So another very famous contribution in the field of forensic science was given by Sir Henry Ford, who was a Scottish doctor, and he was the first to conceive and test the concept that fingerprints are a form of biometrics, which is unique means of identifying people. And later on October 28th, 1880, when he was in Japan, he published the paper on the topic on the skin furrows of the hand, which was published in the journal Nature. Coming to the next scientist, who is Carl William Scheele, he was a Swedish chemist. He was the first to discover and manufacture oxygen and chlorine gas in the lab. And in the year 1775, he created the first test which could successfully find arsenic in a corpse. So, coming to the next scientist, who is Valentine Roth, he expanded the work of Carl William Scheele, and he discovered a very precise way to detect smallest amount of arsenic by using the walls of victim's stomach. This he did in the year 1806. Then coming to the next scientist, that is William Herschel. His full name was William James Herschel. He was the collector of district of Hooghly, Bengal. He used to study fingerprint at that time. He used to experiment with fingerprints. So while his experiments, he found out that only fingers are needed to be used for this study. So he collected fingerprints from friends and family and came to the conclusion that fingerprints do not change over a time, and he suggested this technique to Governor of Bengal so that the legal documents so that fingerprints should be used on a legal document in order to prevent impersonation, but this suggestion was not acted upon. Later on in the year 1877, Herschel was appointed as magistrate of Hooghly. Then he instituted taking off pensioners' fingerprint so that their pensions could not be collected by any impostor. He never realized that this technique could be used to catch criminals, and he was the one who laid the foundation of fingerprinting, which was used by Sir Francis Galton and Sir Edward Richard Henry. And this tool is till date used for fighting crime and to catch criminals. So another very famous scientist is Dr. Edward Richard Henry, who was a native of Shadwell, London. He is best renowned for introducing fingerprinting technique for criminal investigation, and he utilized fingerprint in addition to Bertillonate system, and sometimes only fingerprints were used. That is, he introduced thumb impression in record slips, and which used to contain anthropometric data also. He was the one who maintained duplicate criminal record, which used impression of 10 fingerprints separately. He is also known as inventor of Henry fingerprinting classification system. So he in the year 1896 collaborated with two of the Bengal police officers, that is Khan Bahadur Qazi Azizul Haq and Rai Hemchandra Bose. Under his supervision, they gave this classification system. So they basically collaborated to create Henry system, which assign a numerical value to each fingers and fingerprint patterns, and it uses a mathematical calculation to determine a suspect's fingerprint. So this technique is still very much in use, and at that time it was implemented in all British Raj areas. Another renowned scientist is Frances Glessner Lee, who was the first female police captain in the US, and she is considered as mother of forensic science, as she was the one who laid the foundation for Department of Legal Medicine at Harvard University at the time when forensic was not known to everyone, and it was in its infancy stage. Later she replaced coroner system by medical professionals. So all the judgments later on were given on the basis of medical proofs and not just by the statements given by the parties. Another contribution was made by Ambroise Paré, who was a French physician. He worked as French army surgeon, and he systematically studied the effect of violent death on internal organ. Due to his contribution in medical field, modern surgery, he is considered as father of modern surgery. So in the history of forensic science, a very famous case happened in the year 1784, in which John Toms of Lancaster, UK, was tried and convicted for murdering Edward Culshaw with a pistol. So during the examination of Culshaw's body, a pistol wad was recovered. This pistol wad is nothing but crushed paper used to secure gunpowder and pellets in the muzzle. And after the examination, it was found that this is a perfect match to the torn newspaper found in Tom's pocket. and it became the primary evidence which led to conviction of Toms. Now, another scientist in the history of forensic science is Juan Vucetich. He was an Argentine anthropologist. He created the first fingerprint identification system in the year 1892, and he also introduced the role of biometric data in crime solving. He solved a very famous case of Rojas murder case in 1892 in Argentina by cutting off a piece of door with a bloody fingerprint on it. So, another renowned scientist in the history of forensic science is Rudolf Archibald Reis, who was a German Swiss criminology pioneer, forensic scientist, professor, and a writer. So, he was the one who founded the first school of forensic science in the world, which named Institut de Police Scientifique at University of Lausanne. So thank you for watching this video, and if you like this video, do hit like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new to the channel. You can share this video to those who are in need of such content. Once again, thank you and stay connected.